Hello, hello. My name is Kate McDowell, and I wanted to jump on live with you today because I wrote a book. And that sentence still feels kind of surreal to say out loud. And I wanted to start by telling you why this book exists. Because I didn't just sit one day and think, like, I should write a book. For probably the last decade, a lot of people have been telling me that I should because my story, my experience could be something that could help other people. And so I wrote this book because of the conversations that I keep having. This can be with clients, this can be with other people as well, and with women who have tried everything. People who feel like it doesn't matter what they do, things just aren't working. People who have done the protocols, the plans, eaten the right foods, the mindset work, and are still left wondering, why am I still stuck? I wrote this book because I lived that question. It's been 21 years this year since I was diagnosed with MS, and I've definitely seen kind of both sides of the MS equation. I went through a phase of my life where I was raised in a family which very well-meaning, and the belief was if there's something wrong with you, you go to the doctor and the doctor will fix things for you. And so that's what I did for the first half of my MS experience is I went to the doctor, I tried the medications, I did everything I was told. And so for a while I blamed myself and I thought maybe it's because I'm not patienting good enough. That's why I'm struggling. And then I looked outside of myself and thought, okay, there was a bit of blame outside as well. And it was, I blamed God, the universe, my family, medicine, the doctors, all these different things for why I was in the place that I was in. And what I recognized down the road as I started to realize that everything I was doing wasn't working was that I needed to take that responsibility back. I'd been handing the remote control of my life away and then complaining about the results that I was getting. And when I started to take responsibility and reflect on that, things started to shift. I started to notice areas where maybe I had contributed in different ways in terms of I was a very get stuff done person. I pushed my body, I pushed myself to the max. And when my body started to push back and started to shut down, I was like, who do you think you are? And so I fought back really hard. And what I learned through the journey and the things that actually started to help me move in the right direction was recognizing that my symptoms and the challenges that I was having with my health were actually communication. When I stopped fighting my body and started working with it, that's when things started to move in the right direction. So I wrote this book. Initially, when people had said to me, you should write a book, I thought, okay, I can talk about all of the experiences I've had over the last 20 years. And what I realized was that that didn't feel like the right fit for me. I didn't want to just tell my story. This book isn't about fixing yourself, though, either. There was a time where my body felt like it was pulling the plug without warning, and when pushing harder just stopped working, when being strong actually made things worse, and in a way that no one could explain. So, as I said, this book isn't about fixing yourself, and it's not a how to manual, and it's definitely not about doing more. It's about understanding what's actually been running beneath the surface, the patterns, the rules your body learned a long time ago, the ones that don't actually respond to willpower or to positive thinking. I wrote this book for the women who know there's something missing, but can't quite name it yet. The women who have tried everything. The women who are tired of being told everything looks normal. The woman who's starting to sense that her body isn't broken, it's communicating. If you've ever felt like your system is protecting you instead of cooperating with you, this book was written with you in mind. So, this is my book. This is Standing Somewhere New. And the whole perspective here, I share a bunch of my story throughout, but it's meant to show you kind of the transitions that happen. And I hope that you'll get a lot from this story. I've had some good feedback from it already. It was just launched on Tuesday, so we're only a couple days in to this being public. It's a fairly short read. It's an easy read. And the feedback that I've had is that it's just very helpful because many people can resonate with the journey that I've been through and then see like, oh, okay, she's looking at it differently beyond here. Because when we can start recognizing that our body is not trying to attack us, our system is never trying to say like, screw you. It's trying to tell you something. And so when you can start recognizing the patterns that are going on for you and in your system, you can start to make adjustments that lead towards positive changes in the end. So 21 years in March of this year since I was diagnosed with MS, and in January, so it's actually been more than 10 years now, January of 2016, I got to the point where my symptoms were like I no longer dealt with, sorry, January of 2016, I this is not a recommendation at all. This is just my experience. I came off my medication that I'd been taking for a really long time and just continued to get sicker and sicker. So January 2016, I came off that. In January or in 2016, I have been symptom free. So 10 years this year, symptom free with a condition and illness that I was told along the way, I was told from multiple different doctors that you should just expect decline. You should just expect you have MS. This is MS. You need to just expect that things are going to get worse. And I did that for a long time. And if that's where you are, it's part of the journey. But when you start to think, okay, well, are other things possible here? And that's when things can be really encouraging for people. I saw a video at one point, I do mention that in this book. At one point in my journey, a turning point moment for me was I saw a video from Dr. Terry Walls, who's a pretty big name in the MS sphere or world. And the video was her in the past where she was in a tilt shift wheelchair. She could barely function on her own. She was in a worse condition than I was. And in this video, she's doing a TEDx and she's walking across the stage and showing pictures of her riding her bike and ultimately getting her life back. And I thought, oh, okay, wait a minute. If this person can do it, well, maybe I can do something too. So that's a big part of my objective with this book as well, is to help inspire other people to recognize like, oh, what are the things that I could do that could help me move towards a different quality of life, to help me start to take the remote control back in my own life and get more of my life back as well. So if anything I shared today resonates with you, I'd love to know what part landed with you. So you can drop a comment below. You don't have to give me full details. If you want to, you can send me a DM as well, but just drop a word in the comments below. I'd love to hear what part resonated with you. You don't have to explain it or make it polished. Just one word or a sentence would be great. And this book came from listening, from years of these exact conversations. And if you're feeling that quiet yes while you're listening to this, this is why this book exists. I didn't write it to convince you of anything. I wrote it to give language to something that you might already be sensing, that you may not have had language for before. So if you want to spend more time with these ideas, if you want to read the stories, the patterns, the moments that just don't fit into a short video, I'd love to share with you how you can get this book. I will drop it in the comments below this video if you want to check it out. It is available on Amazon now. I think pretty much everywhere. I've had people buy it from the UK, from the United States, from Canada. It's not an expensive purchase. My whole focus and goal with this is to help people. So if you know someone who's dealing with MS, someone who's dealing with chronic health problems, someone who's just felt like I've tried everything and I'm stuck, nothing's moving in the right direction, this book could be a really good fit for you. I had a friend send me a message that she had read a chapter to somebody that she works with, or a client, I guess, that she works with, who had a stroke when they were in their 30s. And reading a chapter of this book, this client had said, like, I can resonate with everything that she says there. So this is not just for MS. This was for anyone who's been feeling frustrated and wants to maybe find another way, find other possibilities and other opportunities. I use neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I use hypnosis with clients. I use timeline therapy. And the whole point and the whole perspective is recognizing what are the patterns underneath it all. What are the patterns that are causing your body to respond in the way it responds to the situations that you're dealing with? Because we can do a lot of things physically for ourselves. In my journey, nutrition was one of the first steps that I did. So that was a physical change. I made changes to a toxic relationship I was in the past. I made changes to my work situation so I didn't have to drive as long every day anymore. Also a toxic, high pressure work environment. I made changes there as well. All of these physical things that we do can make an impact, but there's a lot of the mental, emotional side of things as well. If you think about your unconscious, subconscious mind, other than conscious, whatever we want to call it, if we think about the subconscious mind controls 90 to 95% of what we do on a daily basis. You don't have to tell your heart to beat every time it beats. You don't have to tell your lungs, yourself to take a breath every time that you need air and oxygen. Your subconscious mind does these things for you. But if your subconscious mind is following an old pattern, old rule, old programming that caused it to do the things that are leading towards the challenges that you're dealing with now, we can shift that. We can help the subconscious mind see that there are other ways to do things, ways that will still keep you safe and help you move towards the goals that you're working on. A lot of the timeline work, I've done stuff around things that happened when I was a child and that made big changes. And a lot of the women that I work with, men as well, but mostly the women that I work with, a lot of responsibility at an early age. These are clients with MS. Not always, but often I see it show up where they had a lot of responsibility at a young age. Maybe they were the latchkey kid. Maybe they were the kid that took care of their siblings. Maybe they took care of their parents. Maybe they had just a lot going on in their life and they didn't feel they had a chance. They didn't feel safe in different ways. And when the nervous system doesn't feel safe, it looks for ways to protect you, to make sure you wake up tomorrow. But those ways could actually be, they need to be updated because they could be protective and serving you at one point, but don't now, or they lead towards the symptoms you're dealing with. So, anyways, again, the whole point of this live, I wanted to talk about this new book. I never thought I would be an author. Somebody said to me yesterday, I think, like, oh, you're an author. And I was like, no, I just wrote a book. It's funny how these things can feel really foreign at first. But this has been floating up in like cyberspace above my mind and in my mind for more than a decade. And I finally got it out and got it on paper and it's tangible. I can hold it in my hand. So if you're interested in this, I will drop the link in the comments below. I'll put the Canada and the US one down there. If you have any questions, I would love to hear. Send me a DM, send me a message. And if you do read it and you have any feedback, I would love to hear that as well. So I hope you get some value from this. I've heard really good things about it so far. And I'd love to see more and more people get the benefit because that was the whole goal. So I am Kate from Align Natural Health. I don't think I said that earlier.